Hi, I'm Brandon Gentle, and this is Gentle Earth Boat Works, where I'm building a 21.5-foot sailboat called the Penguin, which is designed by John Welsford. On this installment, I'm going to be trying to put in a couple more bulkheads. So let's get to it. On bulkhead number 7, I started by planing a bevel to match the slope of the bottom of the boat at station number 7. Then I took some thinned epoxy and put 2 coats of thinned epoxy on the bulkhead, so that way it'd be good and watertight. I use a epoxy company called US Composites out of West Palm Beach. Order their stuff. It's always worked really well for me. I'm not getting paid for the advertisement, just telling you what I use. And I will thin their stuff out with denatured alcohol. You can also thin it out with acetone, but acetone flashes off pretty quick, so I end up using denatured alcohol most of the time when I'm working with it. After about 3 hours, I can go back and do a second coat, and I generally put 2 coats on each bulkhead. Bulkhead number 7 is bolted down with 8 3/8 inch or 10 millimeter bolts. And the plan's called for spacer blocks at each of those locations. So here I'm securing down the spacer block. I put some glue down and I'm just screwing it down to dry. And here I'm just checking the fit before I go in and bed it in with epoxy and do the bolt up. I removed all the screws from the spacer blocks, and then I was able to use that hole that I'd pre-drilled for the spacer blocks to line up my 3/8 bolt hole, and just drilled from the bottom for each of the 8 locations. Next step was to seal everything up with some thinned epoxy, and then go back and butter up each of the locations with thickened epoxy, set the bulkhead, and then bolt her up. Well, I saved you the trouble of watching me put a couple of coats of epoxy on bulkhead number 4. So once that was done, I went ahead and began the install of that bulkhead and had to butter up the back side of the centerboard case. And so here I'm just putting on the thickened epoxy, and then I'll bring over bulkhead 4 and screw it in place. I used a wood brace and bit to drive the rest of the screws in. I found it works a little better. Don't have to worry about stripping out the screws as much. And finally got it installed.
Well, progress has been on the slow side here in the past 6 weeks or so. It's gotten colder, which makes it harder to do epoxy work. And honestly, there hasn't been a lot of time with just family life. So I'm not in a hurry to get this done. If I can get one video a month done, I will. But you know, family's going to come first, as always. So, but I'll keep you updated on my progress. Hopefully, I can get a couple more bulkheads in. I guess my goal is maybe to have all the bulkheads in by spring. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll talk to you next time. Until then, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.